Good morning, everybody. Chris Smith with Pride Adventures. Today, I'm going to be talking about my last 3 days between Argentina and Brazil on my current trip with Pride Adventures and G Adventures. After we were in Buenos Aires, we took off and got a flight into Iguazu, which is where Iguazu Falls is. We flew from Buenos Aires. We stayed at a hotel on the Brazilian side, and our first thing that we did is we went to falls. Now, I'm going to tell you, this is not an experience that I actually expected. I saw pictures of Iguazu Falls. I saw that it was this really epic place, but I never really could imagine. And you have to go there to really experience how epic this is. When you go into the Brazilian side, you actually go right by the Belmond Hotel, which is beautiful. It's right up perched on the side of a cliff. And as you see the first glimpse of Iguazu Falls, you think these are the most amazing waterfalls I've ever seen in my life. And it's just the very, very first little tiny glimpse of them that you get. We took some pictures there, which I'll show you. And then we started down the trail on the Brazilian side, and you just started seeing this panoramic view as you walked, and you saw all of the waterfalls. There's over 200 waterfalls, 260 waterfalls. So it's pretty amazing to see what we saw on that side. You keep going and more and more. And when you get to the bottom, you actually have this view that's just absolutely spectacular. You walk across this kind of gangway bridge, and you go out to the center, and you get a 360-degree view. There's one fall that's right underneath you, and then you look over to the Argentinian side, and you see all of the waterfalls just surrounding you. When you walk back, there's a building, and they actually have an elevator that'll take you back to the top, which is pretty cool. And you can go right next to the fall, and you can just see the power of all that water coming through. That was pretty neat. The waterfalls themselves is about 2 kilometers long, and there's 312,000 gallons of water every second. That's 1.2 million liters a second. That's just on a regular day. When it was flooding in, I think they said 2014, there was 45 million liters of water per second that was passing over the falls. That's wild. That night we went back to the hotel. We had a really nice buffet actually nearby at a Brazilian steakhouse where they come around with the skewers and that you can eat as much meat as you want. I've had so much meat on this trip, and it's all been really good. Day 2, we went back to Iguazu Falls. This time we went across the border, went back through the border checkpoints, and we went to the Argentinian side. The Argentinian side, they actually created this massive national park. It's 102,000 hectares, and it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The park includes buses and trains and 4x4 vehicles and boats, and it has miles and miles of trails that you can go on, which we experienced as much as we could. We spent the entire day there. The first thing we did was we walked across the river to an area that they call Devil's Throat. So when you look at Iguazu Falls, the very corner of the main falls, there's an area where tons of water is just spilling over, and you get to walk right over that and take some really killer pictures, and it's called Devil's Throat. And you take a train to the bridge, you walk, I think it's like a kilometer that you walk to that area. It's a fun fact, the Argentinian side has about 80% of the falls, and Brazil has about 20%. Which side's better? And that's what everybody talks about. Which side's better? What view's better? I think I might have to think about that one a little bit. But the Brazilian side, yeah, you see the epic 80% falls on the Argentinian side. But from the Argentinian side, you get to walk along the falls and really get some perspective as well. So I think they're both pretty amazing. After we saw those falls, we actually went back to the train. We went down a little ways, and then we were able to walk along the falls and, like I said, get that perspective. And that was a nice big loop that you can do, and that's where a lot of photos are taken. From there, we went to an area where some of us jumped on a 4-wheel drive vehicle, and we went down and down through the jungle, and we got on some boats, some speed boats. And I'm going to share a video here, so while I'm talking, there'll probably be some video. But we got on this boat, we went to these falls, the same falls that we looked at that first day that we were looking across, and they were amazing from below. And you just know exactly what's coming next. So you get underneath some falls, you get a little close. Doesn't matter whether you have rain gear on or a poncho. The boat driver just says, "You guys ready to go into the falls?" And so we go into this area where these falls are just coming down with so much power, and you're just worried that, man, if these falls hit this boat, we're done. So we go in, and I'll show you right here, just completely soaked. And then we did it again, and the second time was just as fun. So if you ever go to Iguazu Falls and you have the opportunity to go under the falls on the boat, I highly recommend it. Definitely do it. I would say, yeah, I would say it was a highlight of all the travels I've done. I give Iguazu Falls 2, 3, 4, 5 thumbs up because it truly was a remarkable experience. Now we're at a hotel in Paraty. It's spelled Paraty in Portuguese. And we are not too far from a very charming colonial town that's been here for a long time. We basically flew. We flew from Foz de Iguazu, got on a flight, and we got to Sao Paulo. We got on a bus, and we've been about 5 hours to get here. Totally worth it, though. Last night, after we got here, about 15 minutes after we arrived, we're like, we're going to go check out the town, and we went to dinner. We actually had Thai food because we've been having so much steak. The Thai food was excellent. And we walked around this really charming colonial town. The cobblestone streets were very similar to like the Inca Trail, it seemed like to me. Very uneven, but very just, I keep using the word charming, but they were very charming. We had some awesome desserts. I had a drink called a George Amado. So he was an author, and it had the local liqueur. It had cinnamon, had some lime juice. It was very interesting, but I liked it. Afterwards, I had a beer. Couldn't have more than one of those. We're at the Laguna Blue Hotel. The colonial town here was founded in 1667, and it's an important port for transporting gold from the inland Brazil to Portugal. Paraty became a major hub during the Brazilian gold rush. So today, Aria and I are going to be taking a Jeep tour, and we're going to go check out the gold sites. I don't know if it's the gold mining sites or anything, but it's basically a gold four-wheel drive Jeep tour. The other half of the group is going to do a boat tour. We decided to wait for the boats. We've already been on a couple, but we're going to wait for the boats until we get to Ilha Grande, which is also the big island. We're excited for that over the next couple days. Let's see, what didn't I cover? Wildlife sightings, fun facts of Iguazu Falls. 436 species of birds, 85 species of orchids. Oh yeah, they did talk about the orchids. During orchid season, it's just amazing. 800 species of butterflies. There are reptiles, monkeys. We saw a bunch of catfish that were in the river, which was neat. We didn't really see any of the monkeys or other wildlife. There's just so many people. They have so many people there. If you want to take a helicopter ride, some of our group did do a helicopter ride, and that was about $110. And there are 3 countries right there. So there's actually an area called the Confluence, which is a part of the river where Argentina, Brazil, and Paraguay are there. A lot of people go over to Paraguay for inexpensive meals, tax-free goods, so it's a pretty popular place. There's not really a lot of LGBT culture here. However, everybody's really friendly. I've talked to our guides, and I saw plenty of people holding hands, plenty of couples, plenty of local couples. So it's really neat to see that. There's not, from what I found, there's really not, it's a small place. So there's not like gay bars or anything like that, but we'll see some of that. We'll see a lot more of that coming up soon, especially in Rio. So excited for that. Again, my name's Chris with Pride Adventures, prideadventures.com. You can check us out there. You can check us out on Instagram, prideadventures_LGBTQ. Thank you very much. Keep watching.